It's time for Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock.
Believe me when I say we have a difficult time ahead of us. But if we are to be prepared for it, we must first shed our fear of it. I stand here without fear because I remember that I am here not because of the path that lies before me, but because of the path that lies behind me. I remember that for 100 years we have fought these machines. And after a century of war, I remember that which matters most. We are still here! Tonight, let us make them remember we are not afraid!
Hi guys, this is OccupyTheLand.org kind of opening presentation of what we're doing. Now, a lot of you may know me from Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock. I'm publisher, the host. I'm publisher of freedomsphoenix.com. We created the promotion of decentralization and everything with pirateswithoutborders.com. And OccupyTheLand.org is our latest, greatest, and what this has all been building up to, really for my entire life, is for us to be able to live by our own standards on our own land and be able to not be too hot, too cold, too thirsty, too hungry, you know. And if I was a young man in my 20s, married, so I would be doing this. If I knew then what I know now, I'd definitely be doing this. And the reason is because if you can create a nice nest, you get nice little birdies want to live with you. You know, so to the young men, I'm going, look, all you got to do is create a secure environment, and then you are a viable commodity in the marriage department, or certainly relationships. So what we wanted to do is demonstrate that we're going to embrace the suck here in the Sonoran Desert in 120-something degree weather this summer. But it was because we got such a late start that we didn't really want to wait until fall before we started actually doing construction and so on, because I don't think we got time. So we had to just suck it up, and we're going to do it in the summer and be early in the morning, late in the evening, but it winds up we work in the middle of the day too. But the main thing is that we want to make sure that we are demonstrative of you can create a secure, nice, quality environment with the technology that's available now. PiratesWithoutBorders.com, all the categories, being it like, you know, shelter, energy, communication, food, water, automation. I mean, we have like 8 categories that we put all of this information over decades that we've accumulated. Freedom's Phoenix has been going on since '05. So this has been a long time, you know, like 19 years. So we've accumulated a lot of this information amongst, of course, a lot of the world news and so on. But the ability for us to take care of ourselves, to be an add to a new community, our own community, a community that's, you know, just beginning to thrive, and be an add in communications. We have our newspaper that we can do. We have online magazine. We have FM transmitters. We can have our own freaking show for the valleys out here. We can we have parties, go to parties. We've been meeting a lot of people, and we are definitely an add. And having a tractor with a bunch of attachments, you know, is just like, you know, being in high school with a pickup truck. Everybody's your friend. So this is going to be an interesting and fun adventure in this part of our lives that we want to take you on the trip. Now, the Love Bus has been our home for 4 years. Now, we were scheduled to go ahead and find a property last year, but the prices were so ridiculous. I go, no, I already know where this goes. What happens? We'll wait and see, how much, the prices go down. So that's what we were doing. But we took our Arizona Sunset with us. We just missed it out here, but it's beautiful out here. And then we kept our old Monteros. I have 3 of them. I have a couple more back there, and the truck that we need to haul the tractors and so on. And these, man, they're honey badgers for desert. They don't care, But this is just gorgeous out here. And this is Bob's area, and he's like getting downtown. There's like a lot of lights and stuff coming around here over the past 20 years. So we went in the valley on the other side of those mountains. So on the other side over there is the valley that we're at, and the skies are black and the stars are bright, and it's awesome. So we're really looking forward to being out, and we got our solar panels out for the bus. We have Bob's solar panel array out there for his home and his windmill. And this has been a really good example and inspiration for us. Now, on the outside of the bus, we open this up so you can see we have our wastewater, our power system. We got 2 3,000 watt inverters because we needed it because we sucked up too much power, and 12 kilowatts or plus of storage, and then a 7,000 watt generator. Now, what I've been doing over here is we got a plasma cutter and a welder and compressor. What we've been doing is I'm building a trommel to separate dirt, and we did one last summer, and it worked out great. And we left it in Maine at our friend Derek's, and Derek Slopey, the IT guy, for Freedom's Phoenix, and he's just been, great in setting up the studio. He did all the electronics inside and everything, and a lot of mechanical work too. And then Jay Noon is the one, part of the Free State Project there, a really good friend. He found the bus, and it was pretty beat, and we've gone through engines and stuff like that, but it was only $19,000, and it was already done mostly on the inside. I mean, of course, we had to do a lot of stuff, and we added the storage and everything, but it was a retired plumber that did a good job on it. It's been a workhorse, and we've been able to go from Maine to Washington to Southern California to Key West. I mean, it's just been touring the country. And the main thing was always intentional communities. People wanted to be able to hang with their friends. They wanted to be able to, live a much less stressful life. And it's been my experience that there's always problems, and it's usually social. And if you just have your own land and everybody leaves you alone and you be an add to community, you're better off. And that's what we're trying to do. And we're doing it in a very harsh environment, but we're familiar with it. And I tell you, I know why people retire here. It's because the heat just makes your muscles so much better. You feel looser, you're flowing. I feel a lot healthier. I like the desert because it's clean. But we're going to go ahead and share this with you guys. We want to make sure you come along for the ride, and we're hoping to be an inspiration to Generation Next that can just live freely in a remote community that you're an ad. And the least amount of government you have, the better. We have, for thousands of square miles, 3 deputy sheriffs. There is no law enforcement. It's you. So this is, all the neighbors that we talk to, we don't call the man, because they ain't the man to be called anyway. So it's going to be a really good example for the Liberty community of what you can do. And there's many other places that are much greener, wetter, more forested, more coastline, more something. But this covers a lot of the base, and the weather's nice. There's no earthquakes or volcanoes. I mean, it's tragedy-free pretty much, except for the sun amble. But and there's no bugs. I mean, you have some insects and bugs and everything, but I mean, you are not fighting bugs all the time. I hate that. So I just want to make sure, people know that. But we're going to take you along for the ride if you're willing to go. OccupyTheLand.org. Pay attention. It's going to be fun. And there might be some challenges. The man might pop up. Maybe. We'll see. We're ready. Peace. Is at auction. Ritchie Brothers has these auctions, and I went and I got the trailer that we have that would be for the tractor, and we've been using it for the skid steer. We have these two fuel cells. One's 116 gallons, one's 58. Well, the 58 one's light enough you can just pick it up when it's empty, and we'll put it in the back of the pickup truck. We'll probably do that today. We'll go ahead and take it with us, and we fill that, and then we'll transfer into the bigger one. And I take them in on a trailer. I got a little trailer and a ramp on the back, and it just slides off onto these pallets. Well, sometimes they get even. But so we'll take this one, and then we'll keep this filled up for when we bring the tractor tomorrow. And it's working pretty well. We got our ATV running. We've had a Bear tracker for a while, and I just changed the carburetor on that. Donna found online those two IBC tanks over there that we're hauling water. And it's not enough to do a lot of things. I mean, it's for drinking and showering and just to have water. But we usually bring out these water cubes and so on. You'll see we have a lot of trimming equipment that we did, for people to get in without pinstriping their nice cars and so on, making it back here. We have some other trinkets and trash that we brought, and a picnic table with a covering, and we can make dinner and stay overnight if it gets late and we need to. Donna put out a shower over there. We got a little shower outfit and a bathroom, a compost toilet, and so we can come out and spend the night if we want to. I've been sleeping in the back of the pickup truck with the sky as my ceiling, and it's been awesome. So it's very beautiful out here. And right now, as the sun's starting to go down, it's, 80s. It's not that bad. This has been, now, within a week, it's going to start hitting 111 degrees out here. And we're bracing the suck. We were going to start construction because we got the land late. We were going to start doing a lot of this stuff starting in September. But with the news and everything, I didn't think we could wait. I was like, nah, we need to get on it. Because in about a month and a half, 2 months, middle of July through middle of September, for about 2 months is the monsoon. As the washes, the reason we purchased this is, one, Donna found it, it's beautiful. But it met the criteria of having a very slight slope. It's only from one far corner to about 1,600 feet to the far other corner. It's 18 acres. And it's a drop of less than 10 feet. It's about 9.5, 10 feet. That's just enough for us to be able to control water and accumulate it where we want. The tractor has a 9-inch auger attachment that we have also, along with a box blade, scrapers, a 4-in-1 bucket, forklift, a big bucket, stuff. So what we're going to do with the auger is penetrate the ground, because the clay does not absorb water. It just sheds it, and it'll find a little wash, and it'll start creating a little river there. But what happens is it just stays on the surface, and it doesn't penetrate, which is why all this dust. This is clay, So what happens is, if we drill the holes down about 5-6 feet, then fill it with sand and leave it open at the top, then dam up these little washes with little dams that we have with earth bags that you see these red things over here. Those make 16-inch wide by about 4 inches thick, full with earth. So you can do it for building projects and all kinds of stuff. We got 10 rolls. We got like a lot. We could do a lot of buildings and stuff with that. But the main thing that we are initially going to be using it for is creating little dams so that we can terrace the drain all the way down on these washes. And if we drill those holes, what happens is it backs up the water, maybe only 6 inches to 18 inches deep, but it penetrates through the clay and it becomes a sponge. So with one monsoon, and we're having the standing water terrace down, it'll penetrate into the clay, which is pretty deep. What happens is it only moves about a foot a day. So if you get down, say you got it penetrating down 4 feet down, it'll start soaking up and getting moist only about a foot a day. So that's why we need to do about every 10 feet. That's the next stage. We got this done I might even get some augering in before it hits 120. So we're going to do that and then put the dams in. And as the water rises in the monsoon and it comes in, it'll stop and terrace, and then it'll soak into the ground as opposed to just run off. Now, what we're going to go do now is there's like a 100-foot square. And if we go down about 7 feet, that means I fill it with sand, or it'll fill with sand by itself. And the water that goes down there, it is 2/3 is displaced by the sand. So that means 1/3 is water. So if I have 3 foot deep pond, fill it with sand, 1 foot of that is water, the equivalent of water. Like you take a water bottle, fill it up with sand, you can get 1/3 of the volume of the bottle will be water. Well, what that means is that I could have my own man-made aquifer. And it being 6 feet, I get 1 foot, acre foot is 326,000 gallons. So I go, yep, I want to do that. And the reason is because as we soak the soil here, that means we can plant fruit trees. And they last, for quite a long time. It's a lot of water there. Now, the water that we have in the reservoir, before it goes off the land, it fills up that pond. That will be filled with sand, so you won't even see it. And you can park on it, do whatever you want, but it has all that water in there that we'll have at the bottom a barrel or a tote or whatever that we have perforated, wrapped, carbon around it, so it'll filter it well, and we can pump it right out of it and disperse it where we need it during the dry season. But we're going to saturate the soil. We're going to have a food forest, and that is going to take a little while, but I didn't want to wait another year for the monsoon, which is why we're embracing the suck, with the 100 billion degree weather, to do this so that when the monsoon hits around August, that it all saturates the soil. That's what's going on. Now you see this big road out here, that's not just a driveway, that's a runway. Well, you can't really see it from there, but it's a runway. We're going to be having ultralights out here so that we can explore and have fun. And when it is monsoon, you might want to get out when you can. So we've been working on the road. Sean Holman, the architect, and his son Cody came out for a long weekend and just kicked butt. And we got way more stuff done than we anticipated. I thought it was going to be by the end of the summer before we get to this point. We did the road enough that we could get the love bus out here, start living in that. But I don't know, man. I'd rather drive out here, be a little more comfortable where we're at. But it's possible. And we've got an evaporative cooler that we've installed on the bus that's made it tolerable. But when it gets really saturated, high humidity in the air in the monsoon, it's gonna suck even more. But I really like it out here this time of day. Early in the morning, late in the afternoon, it's awesome. At night, it gets down in the 60s, so you can sleep comfortably. It's just you gotta suck it up during the day. Now, when it gets later in the summer, into July through August, early September, it'll be over 90 degrees at night. It's not that comfortable. But with fans and so on, we've suffered before. But this is really, I'm enjoying this. You'll see we have to change. I think we're on our 6th tire with all the trailers and the cars. And it's been a thing. But it's the creosote these little bushes, when you break them down or you drive over them, down about 6 inches up, it's really like spikes everywhere. And that's why you'll see us, we cleared a lot of clear area and roads of the creosote, just scrape them off and get them done because it's killing tires. So I like my tires more than I like the creosote. Plus, we're going to need a building area too. Then we have site selection for the homes and all that kind of stuff. But as the sun gets down, we made so much dust, you can't really see the mountains that well. A lot of that's from us, or other construction going out here. There's a lot of solar fields going on out here. But we are isolated. We're at the end of the road. The end of the road is like right there. Now, there's some old buildings that have been around since the 50s, just little shacks that were here because they were cowboys. This is open range still. And there's a roundup area down here less than a mile away, down by the river. All this drainage comes from these mountains here, which is a preserve. And there's no motorized vehicles, it's only hiking and horseback. And it's just really awesome, and it goes down, behind you there, Donna, it gets low, you hit the river. Now then it starts going up to the other mountains. Now, so we probably have a pretty shallow well out here, but we're not going to do the well to begin with. We want to do, rain and monsoon collection because it's easy, it's free, and I want to demonstrate that. The reason you have probably more foliage on this and then some other parts of the Sonoran Desert is because of this drainage and this water. And this is exactly what I was looking for years. Years we've been looking for. Remoteness, this gradual topography that you can use the water for, and the building material, the sand and rock and everything is here. So we're going to have some fun, and we're going to take you on the journey. But it started with embracing the suck. Why did we want to do this? A young family in our 20s and late 80s. We had our fourth child, and I was helping my father's company, with international export and I came across, the New World Order, they, them, those, that won't leave us alone. And it was just so bad. And I knew that by the time our kids were our age at that time, it wasn't going to be the same country. We were thinking in the future, in 1988, we were thinking 2016, because that was when our children were going to be our age then. So with that in mind, I'm going, nope, somebody's got to do something. There was nobody not that I could find that was doing. I go, all right, you done just that way. You made me mad. All right, so here we go. So what we did is we have a young family. This is when we started our activism, that the purpose of government is the defense of individual rights. That is its purpose. If it doesn't do that, it's time to alter or abolish. It's your right, your duty. This is what the Declaration of Independence said. And that's why the show is Declare Your Independence with Ernest Hancock, because it had a big Constitution, not so much. It's another plantation they put us on. Bill of Rights was brought about because, oh, no, this sucks. You guys are going to whatever. And so the Declaration of Independence, Bill of Rights, pretty cool. Constitution, not so much. But this is what started us. And from that, I ran for office a bunch of times. So then we go, you probably know this logo a lot. Now, this came from a campaign that I had in '06, the year before. Now, we had done running for Secretary of State that's still voting. We had a vinyl sticker kit that we had, and I had Dead Space up there, that white area. I go, I don't know no Dead Space. That's my money. So I remember seeing this, or from the Beatles or whatever. It was just Lovolution. I thought that was perfect, and it was so popular. When Ron Paul had announced that he was kind of seeking, the presidency, the blue ribbon panel to think about maybe exploratory of probably doing it, I called and they, yep, we're going to try. What? You're doing it? Boom. You go do you. We're going to do it totally outside of the Republican Party. We're not doing the MAGA thing or any of that stuff. It is a freedom libertarian thing. So we opened up an office. We started mass producing thousands of these signs, and then I traveled the country showing people how to do it, and they got creative. I didn't care what they did, just that they did something, and it just exploded. Well, we knew that was going to happen, and I go, watch this. Well, here we go. So then this is how the Lovolution was known in Europe, and we added, we know the truth. And when you say truth, that's subjective. Truth, what truth? Your truth? It's not lies. How about that? The truth is not lies. That's kind of how we look at it. Then we started the e-zine. Now, it's a digital magazine. If you go to the top of Freedom's Phoenix, and you'll see at the very top, it has, let's see if I can show you. At the very top here, it says online magazine. It has newspaper and that kind of stuff. You go up there and you'll see dozens and dozens of online magazines that were made for new smartphones and tablets. You just swipe it like it was a newspaper, and it would read. It was awesome. And we beat like Martha Stewart and Wired Magazine and Popular Science to it. It was June of 11 when we first started doing it. Pirates Without Borders was the promotion of the decentralization of everything. Pirates Without Borders. We needed to be able to, join us above the grid. We're not off grid. We're above the grid. Anarchy is only 62 miles away, which means 100 kilometers up, you're out of government jurisdiction. FYI. So they got to have pirate ship, the Precariat. PiratesWithoutBorders.com in the top left, you'll get a video, a visual tour of the Precariat. And that's very cool. Cameron did that, and that's awesome. One of our supporters. Now, these categories: communication, energy, shelter, health, food, water, transportation, automation, education. Each one of those categories has a bunch of stories over the decades, thousands and thousands of stories that are about decentralization down to the individual, the tech that you could have, and when we occupy the land that we're going to employ. And we have been keeping track of all that information for now. But you need to go to pirateswithoutborders.com and you'll understand why we did that. Was the promotion of decentralization and to supply this with any community that you're in, which is what we're building here. We're already integrating ourselves into the rural area out here. It's going to be a thing. We're going to have some fun. Boom! And now we're on the land. So we built the studio that we had in my home, and we put it into the bus. So everything, all the activism and the sign making production stuff was underneath the bus, because these buses got a lot of storage, so we were able to do that. And we would show up at any park or somebody's home, and this is the studio that we had to put into itty bitty living space. Now, so we had a 100-watt laser that we would cut out with this thin plywood kind of stuff that was surplus that a friend of mine, Derek Slopey, that's IT for Freedom's Phoenix, lives in Maine, and part of his compensation for all the stuff that he does is we got him a 100-watt laser to play with. Well, what did he do? He made the stencils for all these signs. You just spray paint them. You could make thousands of them. I mean, it's just amazing how many of these we did. And he also did to where you put them in like a puzzle to make bigger signs. And, people would show up, and they'd make signs, and then they go put them up. This was in Prescott. Now, we've been making these domes for a while, and once we found out you could squish the end with a hammer, but now we got a machine to do this, and you use the drilled hole for the bolt, you got a hub, man, we can go to town. We can build all kinds of stuff, and that's what we did. We got this old stamp press And we had a die made. Heck, the die was thousands and thousands of dollars. But then we could start mass producing. You squish it, then you put it in the other side, punch it, rounds it, hole, boom. Do the other side, rock and roll. And you just start making struts, and this is the first dome that we made. And it's called the Money Dome, and we'd take it around and use it for, this is at Porcupine Freedom Festival, Pork Fest, where we would, vend out of it. And it was very inspiring for a lot of people. And we started making bigger ones, and they became, dog houses for pigs and chicken coops and whatever. But we wanted to make structures. Now, one of the things, you could take hog fence and you wire tie it around to the dome, then you put mesh on it, then you just start putting concrete on it. Now, we did this prototype, and we tried different kind of meshes and different mixes, and we did a bunch of stuff. But that's after one coat of it, and then you just put on more coats, and boom, finished structure. And it ain't going nowhere. And it's on a slab, and that probably costs like $5,000, 22-foot dome, and man, it's a thing. And maybe even cheaper now, because that was when prices were, oh my God. Now, workshops, I have two 30-foot domes this size that we've already punched out that we're going to put up on our land, probably like start next week. And we need them to get out of the wind and rain and the sun so that we can do some work. And then we just set up our station. This is an aircrete station we're experimenting with and doing stuff. And we just out of the wind and rain and the elements, and then you cinch it down, either anchors that you screw into the ground, or you do concrete or whatever. Now, this is where we are now out here. Now, this is just, strips, rolls of the plastic just to get us out of the wind. And but we have better coverings that we do. And this is where I'm going from now. Jay came out. We started doing soil samples. This is how you can make adobe out here that lasts hundreds of years. And if you put a little bit of Portland cement in it, it doesn't matter if it's in the rain either. It won't go anywhere. Now, this is just a little well that we were experimenting with, doing with adobe, different mixes that we did. So we've been experimenting. Linseed oil, waterproofs it and makes it hard. And then we were making with aircrete, we made these shapes that you could just put in and plug in the dome. This takes a little bit more engineering to get it, perfect, and then we didn't have time, so we just covered the whole thing. But this deserves some more attention. We're going to be, playing with that more. And there's a bunch of samples that we did, and there's the aircrete, why it makes it so light. Now, you can mix it in big barrels that we have. This is Mike Swatek in Oklahoma building his Dome Gaia building. He puts it in a big tub. Then he puts separators in it to make these long blocks that he cuts into thirds and uses those as building materials. There's a lot of different ways that you do it. Then you put them together and you coat it and you got a shell. So there's a lot of things that you can do. This is the beginning. We had, I need these domes to do different things. Main living area, master bath, bedroom with a master bath, storage, the studio, guest room. Now, we're probably going to need a couple more domes or whatever, but this is what I sent Sean and what he produced. And he went and he goes, oh, yeah? Well, for a young family, we can do this. Now, the why is you need to insulate yourself from they, them, those. You are not going to fix it. It's not broken. It's already fixed. Just saying. So that's why we're promoting Occupy the Land with attainable housing and to be an ad. We're bringing the show. We're doing FM transmitters. We're using different mesh networks with different decentralized platforms here in a rural area that you can easily get in communication with everybody. So that's what we're doing. We're bringing it. We're adding, being an ad, demonstrating by example, inspiring. Watch this.
climb so high, now we're rising up. Are you ready now? Turn it up. Hey, are you ready for this? Oh, I can see my name under big lights. It sure looks good to me. I'm coming up now, I'm ready for the big time. I'm gonna be hard to beat. Oh, I'm a hard act to follow, got a big reputation. Oh, hold on, hold on, hold on now. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this now? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? There ain't no limit. Are you ready for this? Let me hear you sing it. Are you ready for this now? Serving up the heat. Are you ready for this? Now take it to the street. You ain't seen nothing like this now. Let me hear your hands clap. It's my time, I'm back on my feet now. I'm taking on the world, I never miss a beat, that's the way I roll. You can watch me doing it. Hold on, hold on, hold on now. Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this now? Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this? There ain't no limit. Are you ready for this? Let me hear you sing it. Are you ready for this now? Serving up the heat. Are you ready for this? Now take it to the street.
I just got to say, the desert's beautiful. And I remember North Scottsdale, Cave Creek, Carefree, that kind of thing was like this. This is what it was like. And you could just feel it coming again. So it may be after I'm gone, the grandkids, but I just wanted to give them a chance to be, remote and away. And, take care of themselves. Take care of their community. Make sure that there's an opportunity for them to be self-sustaining and not be on some grid all the time. We're not just off the grid here. We're above the grid. It's just beautiful out here. I really enjoy it, and I'm glad that we made this decision. We'll take you along with us on this ride. It's going to be fun. Peace.